Okay, we're beginning our warm-up. So we're going to start by foam rolling the glutes and the deep external rotators of the hip. You're just going to cross your ankle over your knee and then foam roll from the top of that hip all the way down through the full meat of that glute. And make sure to do both sides. Make sure again to get around the top of that pelvis where that upper glute max attaches. Now moving into the low back and middle back, so we're going to gently make our way to the center of the back, the spine. We're just going to arch over the foam roller with both hands outstretched if you can and the neck falling down. Protect your low back here. We're going to continue to roll through that middle spine. Finding sticky spots for yourself. And then I like to do one more little roll here to gather up all that tissue from the top of the hips all the way up to where that little sticky spot is for you. Outstretch those legs and fold over the roller. So remember, we are preparing to work out here, so we want to keep everything pretty dynamic. We're not hanging out too long in any of these stretches. So you'll see with this hip flexor stretch, we're going to move pretty quickly back and forth. Just a breath or two maybe before, and then we move. As you continue to alternate, you can begin to then raise your arm over your head for a little deeper stretch and open the leg up, quickly moving to the other side, keeping the pelvis square. Breathing in and out, preparing the body for work. Take a couple rock and rolls here, so just rock those knees side to side, getting on the upper part of those glutes again, the upper part of those hips, a little bit into the side of those hips. One more nice big roll here, big stretch, legs out, let that tummy stretch, let the spine extend, and move your foam roller out of the way. Now we're going to go into cross kicks. So arms are out to a T. We're going to just gently begin this movement, not moving into any pain, and just letting our body open up with each kick, increasing the range of motion as we go through the series here. And do your best to keep your shoulders down. You'll see mine come up still, but I am working to keep them flat. Again, increasing range of motion as my hips loosen a little to kick that foot up a little higher. So we're now going to move into a push back with a QL stretch and a spider stretch series. So we're going to get a couple of pushbacks here. There's the QL stretch, quickly walking side to side, moving straight up into a spider stretch, one each side. And then moving right back down into the pushback. So with your pushbacks, your belly, your tummy can touch the mat every time. It's okay. We're not looking for a full-on push-up here. We're just trying to warm up this upper body, warm up the hips a little more. So again, we've got one spider stretch each side. back down into pushbacks. So we've got 1, 2, 3 pushbacks this time. QL stretch, switch sides, up into a spider stretch. Breathe those hips towards the floor. Open that knee. And again, increasing back to pushbacks. 1 pushback, 2 pushbacks, 3 pushbacks, 4 pushbacks, finishing with 5 pushbacks, QL stretch, spider stretch. This time we can add a rotation. We're rotating the arm closest to the knee up towards the sky. Now transitioning into a tabletop T-spine rotation. So we're going to go elbow to elbow and rotate that elbow towards the sky with your eyes following. Just as much rotation as you can get. So really trying to rotate up. We're loosening up that middle spine some more, getting it ready for work. We're breathing. Switch sides. We're getting roughly 10 each side here. As you learn this warm-up series, you can certainly make it your own. Doing as many of these or any of these warm-up movements as you feel you need to get your body ready for work. One last little QL stretch. And now we're moving to standing. So you can move your mat out of the way. We're going to start with our forward step and reach alternating. So we're going to do 10 each side here. We're not doing a full lunge. We're just taking a step, reaching over the front of that toe. You should feel a stretch through your glutes and your hamstrings, so the back sides of your legs, and maybe even up into your low back. The alternating movement helps get the right and left brain integrated and ready for dynamic movement out on the floor with your strength training. And we're moving into a lateral step and reach. Again, we're going to do 10 each side. Just nice and easy. Now we're working that lateral neuromuscular connection. Again, still waking up the legs, waking up the knees, waking up the hips. Really waking up the low back. Loosening everything up, getting it ready for work. Just work with your body, don't force anything. Let your body warm up into these movements. Now we're going to go into our posterior step and reach. I'm only going to do about 5 each side here. If you feel like you need to do more, you can. So you're going to be front facing and then stepping behind you with that back foot ending in kind of an L shape, but don't get the front toes stuck. Let it rotate a little so that you don't hurt your knee. This is just another angle, so now I'm facing the camera, showing you that I'm stepping behind myself and really reaching. Now we're going to move into 10 body weight squats. So go as wide as you need to with your feet. Really try to drop those hips. Get that low back, those hips, those knees all unloaded, ready for work. Getting the heart rate up a little bit. Now we're going to do some upper body sides banana stretches. So these are a dynamic banana stretch. Feet are together, we're reaching up, just letting the side of that body stretch out. Now we're going to move into some upper body rotations. So we're going to start with the thumb on the chest, the other hand serving up a pizza. We're just going to gently swing through that upper body, letting the toes just be nice and loose. Feel that upper body loosen, feel those pecs open up a little bit more. Be very deliberate with your arm swings here. Now we're going to go down into some adductor and hamstring floor taps. So you're going to hinge back, you're going to tap 1, 2, 3, up, squeeze the glutes, down, tap 1, 2, 3, up, squeeze the glutes, tap 1, 2, 3, up, squeeze the glutes, and again. Okay, so now you're warmed up. It's time for your rehearsal sets. So if you're doing a circuit style training, meaning you have 4 or more exercises paired together, then your first round of your circuit should be considered your rehearsal warm-up, meaning that you're not going to be going necessarily at full rep scheme or your full load capacity for the first round. You still want to let your body warm up. By your second round, you should be at full expression. Now, if you're doing just one exercise at a time, or your program calls for biplexes, triplexes, or even quadplexes, then you're going to want to pay attention to your load scheme. For instance, if you're working heavier, a 6 to 10 rep scheme, then you're going to want to do 2 to 4 rehearsal sets, working up to your maximum load capacity for that day. The heavier the load, the more warm-up or rehearsal sets you will need. If you do not do that, then you're not maximizing your training. If your rep scheme calls for 10 or more, then you probably don't need to do as many rehearsal sets. For instance, if your scheme calls for a 10 to 12 or a 12 to 15, then I may only do 1 or 2 rehearsal sets getting to work capacity. If it calls for 15 or more, especially later in the program, then sometimes you don't even need to do a rehearsal set. Just listen to your body, but for those heavier loads, you definitely need to work into your workload for that day. If you don't do that, you're not going to maximize your training. Be sure to rest for the allotted time during your workout and have fun.